Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles,
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Lemaster.
and this is Scream Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and we find out why are those boys lost, and can they get directions?
This was before GPS.
They needed a map. Those boys needed some maps, and they would have been fine.
Well, I guess before public GPS or affordable GPS.
Yeah, well, definitely before commercial GPS, that's for sure.
Yeah, because the military has had GPS for a while.
Yeah. We wouldn't have it.
No.
Back then we'd have the maps or gas stations where you'd say, "Hey, do you know how to get to Crawfordsville?" And they'd say, "Yeah, drive 3 miles that way. When you see the bend in the road, you've went too far."
I used to hate getting directions from my dad because, he was a truck driver and he was like a walking atlas, but he would try and describe this and he would never write it down. I'm like, okay, well, after like the first two turns, like, I'm done. I'm not going to remember any of what you're saying. Like, why are you even telling that to me?
Dude,
Just write it down on a piece of paper.
I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day when I went to visit you in college, to get directions, you'd give me directions, but they were hard to get from the house. So I would use MapQuest, and I would print out the directions.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'd be driving and I'd go, "Oh yeah, I guess I'm turning on exit 317." Good times. Now we're just so spoiled with GPS, though. We literally.
I mean,
boop,
you're
we just drive.
spoiled. You were spoiled back then if you had like access to a printer and internet. Like I had to like
That's
go
true.
somewhere to find that and print it out.
Yeah, we're part of the elites with a printer, dial-up internet, and
Yes.
I think by that point we moved up from what was the step up from dial-up? What was that? Derek, what was that? DSL. That's what we had.
Oh yeah.
We were a DSL family at that point, so we were getting faster speeds. I could watch an actual YouTube video on that. It's pretty impressive.
I had dial up until like probably 2012.
Last year. No.
We had it for a while, but by the time Derek was in college and stuff, I think we had moved up to DSL. But I remember, this is just one of the side tangents real fast, but I remember watching the trailer for The World's Not Enough in 1999 when that teaser was coming out and being like taking forever for that fucker to download, and then just watching 260p quality video and being like, "Yeah, go James Bond."
I remember we downloaded it was a picture of Sarah Michelle Gellar because she was very attractive, and it took literally like 10 minutes just for the picture to download.
Dude, yeah, watching porn back in the day was terrible. If you're trying to look at nudes, first of all, you get caught by your parents because it just took too long. You had to make sure you had about 3 hours just so you could look at a couple of nudie pictures.
Yeah, well,
make sure the house is clear.
I remember watching sneak peeks of the videotapes and like making sure that I rewound it to the perfect place so that they would never know.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. Since we're on this subject, one more side tangent. Did you ever use Scramble Vision? Did you ever do the Scramble? Yeah. Me too. I used it for not only that, but for wrestling pay-per-views when I was a kid. I'd watch wrestling pay-per-views scramble.
At least you could hear it.
Yeah, so I'd hear the commentary and I'd maybe see like a move or so, and like, yeah, I think Austin stunned that guy probably. I don't know.
Honestly, like back in the day when you would get the pay-per-views, like the wrestling pay-per-views, for like the next half hour after, you still had access to the pay-per-view channel.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I remember one time like a Shannon Tweed movie came on afterwards, and they're like they just got to the good part, and I was like, and then it like went into Scramble, and I'm like, no.
I had some Scramble where the best was when it was just negative, So basically, the image wasn't scrambled, just
Yeah.
like it was like looking at a negative of a
Inverted,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah. And so those are the pay-per-views that I liked because then I could see the moves and see what's going on. I'm like, all right, I can actually watch this. It's weird looking, looks like aliens wrestling, but that's fine. It's fine. I could still hear the commentary and I could kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, it might have made it more interesting for some.
That's the poor way to watch wrestling pay-per-views back in the 90s. Good times. So guys, on this lovely night, I've got a good amount of horror information, or as we like to call it, horror news. So let's get into it. So I'll start off with a little bit of Monsters news.
Oh, they finally canceled it. They were like, man, that trailer got like 10 views, and most of them were by like these 3 IP addresses.
So
Yes.
I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong, if I'm wrong. And more people should totally be okay with that, by the way, just so you know.
100%.
So last week I talked about how the rumor was that the movie cost $30 to $40 million. And that's not the case, at least according to Rob Zombie. He said that they don't know where that number is. It's way smaller. We don't know what the actual budget is. Probably around 10 million, I would guess, if I would hazard a guess. So at least we have that. However, having said that, though, the trailer was still not great, obviously. But I just wanted to start off the news section with that correction. Rob Zombie says that's not correct, and I believe that's true because his remake to Halloween was only 15 million. So
yeah,
I don't know if this is a smaller scale movie than that, I figure, but we know now that the movie is premiering on Netflix this September.
On Netflix.
I thought it was.
Yes, that was another bit of misinformation, was that it was going to be on Peacock because it's a Universal movie. However, Rob Zombie has said that it's always been Netflix, and not only that, but it also has a Blu-ray release around that same time, so you can buy it on physical media.
Yep, give it a month and it'll be in the like $3.99 section.
There was another trailer that was cut as well, which looked a tad bit better, but pretty much the same. So take that for what you will.
Like, this might be a hit with like younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a hit, and
I
hope it is for them.
Yeah,
because I don't wish anybody ill will. So I hope that they find an audience. I really do. It's not for me.
Not for me either. At least based off that last trailer, not. But we'll see. We'll watch it, of course. We're gonna watch it because we have to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
So, guys, this is
I'll be drinking that night.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. So, guys, this is actually some really big news. It was announced the other day. What was that? Yesterday it was announced. So there is an Apple TV Godzilla show coming out, first of all. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's get that out of the way. But it was announced yesterday that Kurt Russell and his son are going to star in it.
Oh.
All right. This just moved up like 4 notches.
Well,
yeah, anything with Kurt Russell automatically moves up 4 notches.
Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes me way more excited to see this.
I will at least give it a shot now.
Yeah, I would have given it a shot anyway. You guys know I love Godzilla, but
well, yeah.
Oh, I do too.
But it's like
it just seems like it would be.
Yeah.
That's
now it's A-list,
far out of left field. It's like, whoa.
Now it's A-list style. It doesn't. Go ahead, Derek.
I was gonna say. I was literally 3 seconds from asking the question: are they in the old foam suits?
No, but we don't have any details on who they're playing or anything. But that's great news, right? This next bit of horror news doves nicely into our episode last week. because it's some M. Night Shyamalan news talking about his new movie, Knock at the Cabin. It has now been confirmed that that the movie is an adaptation of a novel called Cabin at the End of the World that was written in 2017. He says, like the majority of adaptations, there will be changes, story changes and differences compared to the book, so my readers will still be surprised by the film. So, what are you guys' thoughts on M. Night Shyamalan doing an adaptation of a movie?
Love it.
Wasn't the Last Airbender an adaptation?
It was. It was.
And I'm optimistic for the best that it can be.
And that's
Just by the synopsis that you described earlier in a different an earlier episode, it sounds interesting. So,
Yeah, so we talked about the synopsis on an earlier one. It's about a 7-year-old who basically gets visited by this big man that says that the end of the world's coming, essentially, and he won't let anything happen to her, and then that's the start of kicks off the movie. So we'll see. I'm excited. It has Dave Bautista in it. And I like me some Dave Bautista. All right. This news is really cool, you guys. So, in the summer of 2023, we are getting a Patrick Wilson directed Insidious 5.
Whoa. Nice.
Insidious. We haven't hit the Insidious movies.
We haven't hit one yet, no.
And they're pretty good too. So
yeah, Insidious 5. So he's going to play his same character of Josh from the Josh Lambert from the first movie, and he's also making his directorial debut. It takes place 10 years after the first movie, and we catch up with the Lambert family. Thoughts?
10 years after the first movie.
What character did he play?
That sink in.
Patrick Wilson played the lead in the first Insidious. Well, both of the first two.
Yeah, and he was also
yes, he's Ed. He's Ed Warren. Yep.
Yeah. I'm terrible with names. I'm great with faces. That's exciting. I
same face, that, different names.
Yeah. I liked both those franchises, so I'm excited.
I have too. I'm excited.
I do like the Insidious movies a lot.
Yeah. So, summer of 2023, we will step back into the further. So,
I really hope they make another
Conjuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Get it back on track.
I really hope this Insidious movie is going to be good.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
The story was written by Lee Winnell, who of course wrote all the Insidiouses and directed Insidious 3. And he's of course the co-writer of Saw, or the writer of Saw, essentially, writer of Saw and all Dead Silence, all the James Wan classics. So, and The Invisible Woman, or The Invisible Man, which is a good one. The new Invisible Man. So, next we have a couple different trailers I want to discuss. So the first one is one that we've been ready for a year, which is David Gordon Green's Halloween Ends. Derek, you had a chance to watch the trailer, yeah?
I did.
What were your thoughts?
It was some of it was like unfamiliar deja vu, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many callbacks to the original. So many callbacks. But then there's a lot of like in your face, like showdown type scenes in it. And so it looks like it's going to be amazing. It's a 4-year time jump.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see how they weave the story together to make sense.
Yeah. It came with a synopsis as well. So the synopsis says that it's been 4 years since the. So we could totally hear go go. So the
I drank like a
synopsis.
camel over here.
The synopsis says that there's a 4-year time jump, obviously, but in that 4 years, Laurie Strode has gotten her life back on track and decided to remove herself from the specter of Michael Myers. Michael Myers has not been seen in 4 years. And this is where it gets dicey to me, guys. And I have faith, but it kind of scares the shit out of me. It says when a local teen boy, a local boy, which is Allison's love interest of the piece, Cameron Cunningham, I think is his name, or something Cunningham, is accused of killing a babysitter, or accused of killing a kid that he's babysitting. It sets off a chain of violence.
Mm,
So, you know,
hmm.
Must be the curse of Thorn.
maybe. Hey, listen, as long as the Shape is the one killing people in this movie, I'm fine. If they follow through on the Certain thing that we worried about, gonna be no bueno for me, guys.
You know what I heard? I heard that there was going to be a mystery villain.
Mystery villain? Is it gonna be Malignant?
Yep, it's going to be Gabriel. And
Oh my
he and Michael
gosh.
Myers are going to have a showdown when the aliens come
That's gonna be. Hey, I
in
would
a
take.
post-apocalyptic setting.
I
heard
would
that.
take it over imposter Michael Myers. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So in the trailer, there's a shot of her stabbing his hand.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure he's missing some fingers.
He's missing fingers in that shot. However, there's also a shot earlier in the trailer when he pushes open a door and he has all of his fingers.
Mm.
So maybe the kid, I don't know, we're speculating. Maybe the kid
Yeah.
impersonates him, and he's like, "Motherfucker,
I hope so.
I'm the OG," and he comes for the child.
Oh yeah, like
Right.
there's like a copycat kid running around,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then Michael Myers actually shows up, and he's like,
Well,
That
no,
would
you
be-
didn't.
That'd be good as
First
long as
time he
Michael
talks
Myers is doing the
40
majority
years.
of the killing. So, I pay for a Halloween movie to see the Shape kill, not Cameron fucking Cunningham or whatever his name is.
right?
I don't think it's Cameron. I think it's something else Cunningham. It's definitely CC. So who knows? We'll hold our judgment. But the trailer looked fantastic. Jamie Lee looks great in it. She's definitely wearing the same clothes that she is in Halloween, or similar outfit to that she is in '78.
Yep.
So I'm excited. We're always excited for new Halloween.
A hard callback.
Now, guys, this next bit here, I just found out today, but there is a trailer for Jeepers Creepers 4.
Really?
What?
Yes. Now,
Yes.
if you guys want to watch it, without sound, just to look at it, we can do that. What do you guys
Let's
think?
do it. Is
You
it
wanna
bad?
do
Have
it?
you already watched
Might
it?
as well.
I watched it. Yes.
Is it
Now you,
better or worse than the last movie that came out?
oh, it's a million times better than the last one. I think
Okay.
the filmmaking
Isn't hard
looks
to do.
good. So I can have you guys look at it later, but I can describe what it is, or unless you guys want to see it.
Oh shoot!
What do you think?
Let's see it.
All right.
I gotta see.
Roll
I saw that last
beautiful bean
movie, and
footage.
All right. So I have it queued up here. You ready?
every 23
Yep.
years.
You guys see that?
Yep.
See, it already looks like it's a much better made movie, right?
Yeah. How long has it been since the original?
2000. 2002, something like that. 2001, 2002.
So
Right?
it's approaching 20 years.
Yeah,
And that's if it was set in modern day.
yeah.
I don't remember if it was or not. It might not have specifically said. I would love to see a prequel,
Yeah.
like Jeepers Creepers Origins.
So, what do you guys think of like the way it looks?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's fine. Looks good. It looks really glitchy on my screen. I don't know if you
does it?
guys are having that.
I'm not because I'm watching the actual thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's real choppy on my screen, so it's kind of hard for me to judge how it looks, but it kind of is giving me like, the I don't know. Kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Leatherface. Was it Leatherface?
Oh yeah, the chainsaw, the new chainsaw.
Yeah.
You guys will never believe what'll
Kinda
happen
me.
here.
Reborn. Okay.
That jump is like you never see that coming, right?
Mm-mm.
What do you guys think?
It's a different tone than the previous ones.
Yeah, for sure.
So the
It
plot
looks kind of
synopsis.
fun.
It does
It
look
looks kinda
fun.
fun. I like the looks of the characters. It like looks like they're having a party.
Yeah. So the plot is that they hold like a creeper fest
Oh,
off the legend essentially, and like these
cool.
people won the prize, which is to do like a one-on-one, like a creeper escape room, essentially.
Oh,
But
my
then
gosh. Okay.
then the real creeper shows up and starts trying to kill him, I guess.
Mhm.
We haven't seen the makeup of the creeper, so we don't know what he looks like yet. What did you guys think of that plot, first of all? What did you think of that
That's
plot?
not what I got from that trailer at all.
Well, I got it from the audio of it.
The audio. Okay.
What do you think of that plot synopsis, Derek?
It's a little too on the nose.
It's a little
And
silly.
that would be akin to you holding a parade because in honor of Charles Manson. I mean,
But they think that the creeper didn't exist. They think it's just a
Right.
legend.
A
They think it's like a
legend, yeah.
legend.
I mean, and it depends on how much they like play on the first movie, because there was like at one point they found a burning church with like hundreds
Yeah.
of dead bodies. Like,
That was cool.
I don't know. The plot aside, the movie I think actually looks pretty okay.
Yeah, I think the way it's filmed, obviously they have a bigger budget, but it looks a million times better than the turd
Last
fest
one.
that was Jeepers
Ugh.
Creepers 3.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was terrible.
ugly, right?
Real bad. Real bad.
Mm.
That was
feel
the kind of movie
nauseated.
you take a girlfriend that you don't like to.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish Jeepers Creepers 3 on my worst enemy.
No.
That's an awful one. It's an awful one.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'll cover it. We might cover this one. It's not directed by he who should not be named. So we'll see. I mean, I'll watch it for sure, and then we might, give our thoughts on it, but I don't know if we'll do a whole episode on it. But we'll check it out when it comes out. Dude, I spent money to rent Jeepers Creepers 3 when it came out.
Dude, you messed up.
I messed up big time. I feel devastated. But did you spend money, Derek? Did you rent it too?
No, it was on Netflix or something like that I watched.
Damn it! I got it
when
it came out
on HBO.
I was like, oh, I'll check it out. I wanted to see it, so I think I rented it, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I did see that one. No, I think I rented the disc of it from Redbox. I did. I rented the disc from Redbox. That's how I watched it.
You messed up.
Yeah, I did mess up. Refunds for this. Oh man, it's a bad one. But I did rent Phantasm Oblivion on pay-per-view. And we'll, or not Oblivion, but yeah, Oblivion, the latest, Ravager, Phantasm Ravager. I rented that, and we'll talk about that when we get there. We have 3 more Phantasms to get through. All right, guys, that wraps up the horror news. So, let's get into tonight's movie, which I'm really excited to talk about. It is the 80s classic, the Joel Schumacher directed, Kiefer Sutherland starring, well, Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, and who am I missing?
And what's his name? You know,
Yeah,
the one that
Michael.
nobody knows his name.
I know his name. I just can't think of it.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time thinking of the name too.
Yeah, the one guy.
It's right there. Oh, well, I'll look it up. Oh, it's Jason Patrick, the Speed 2 guy. But Joel Schumacher's 1987 vampire horror comedy flick, The Lost Boys. Now, guys, what are your experiences? What's your experiences with The Lost Boys? Let's start with you, Lydia. This isn't your first time seeing it, right?
No, I saw it just on TV and stuff like that when I was young, and like I couldn't pin down a specific date or anything. It was just kind of always there, you know. Just it was always on my radar. It just kind of was like, oh, Lost Boys. You know, it was just like such a casual thing to be on. I don't know why, but
It was.
So yeah,
it was on a lot.
I think
Derek.
I bought it in like a $5 bin as well.
That's a travesty, and we'll talk about why. Derek, what are your recollections of The Lost Boys?
You know, a lot of these movies, like, I don't know, it might have been network driven, but like, I think of these movies and I'm like, yep, that was a TBS.
Yeah.
I watched it a lot on TBS.
It was TBS because Warner.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, exactly. And so, no, man, yes. We talked about this earlier, the nostalgia of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when was this movie? When was it released?
1987.
87. Okay, so I would have been 4.
I'd have been 1.
And I'm sure I didn't see it until I was a little bit. Give my mom credit. I'm sure I didn't see this until I was a little bit younger. But like, I mean, it was just a staple. Like, this was, you know, one of the movies that you watched mainly because it was in syndication. You know, at least a couple of times a year, especially in October.
Yeah,
it was The Lost Boys. So
yeah, it was one that we had on VHS. I didn't watch till I was probably about, 5 or 6 or something like that. It was when I was really big into Billy the Kid is when I watched this because I was a huge fan of Young Guns. So I was I loved Kiefer Sutherland because Kiefer Sutherland was Doc, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched this movie because it not only had Doc in it, but it also had Bill from Bill and Ted in it as well.
Sure did.
Yep.
Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Yep. So Alex Winter's in this movie as well. So I was like, there's Bill, there's Doc. So it's been one of those. Yeah. My cousin Joey and I used to watch this movie all the time and we'd always talk about it. It's just one of those like classics. Like you said, it's always on. And I've always had a soft spot for it. I've always held a special place in my heart for it. But on this rewatch, it was like the Grinch. My heart grew 3 sizes bigger as I rewatched it. And I'm like, I'm just going to get it out of the way. Lost Boys fucking rocks, is what I'm going to say.
It was really good.
It
I enjoyed
rocks. Lost Boys rocks. So, first of all, let's talk about Joel Schumacher. He directed this movie. And his shot selection in this movie rules. Like, it's like got this super commercial 80s veneer over it, but it just works. It works, and there's some really cool shots. I like the opening, the way that he portrays our opening bit, and we don't see what's going on the first time we're introduced to the Lost Boys themselves. Mm-hmm. And they all dress so cool, and they're just so fucking cool.
Yes.
Aren't they cool? Aren't they cool?
They're cool. They're cool, Jamie. They're cool.
cool. I feel like we need to preface that by saying they're 80s cool because,
They're
man, let me
80s
tell you
cool.
what.
Yeah. The style
Yeah.
is
The
changed.
hairstyle and the clothing.
The,
But for the time, you're right.
the one dude's wearing
Very
like the
cool
one dude
for the
wearing like
time.
the one dude wearing like the colonial shit. I don't know about all
Yeah.
that, but I was talking specifically about David, Kiefer Sutherland. David is cool. Like he's
Other than
just
the fact that he smokes, but yeah.
he's just so suave and cool, you know, and the way he like just kind of walks around. In that opening
Yeah.
He
scene
does,
when that
yeah.
cop pulls him and he's like, you know, I told you not to be out here, and throws him around, and he's just like
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, let's go. Kind of like, I'm gonna fuck you up later.
He's too cool. He's too cool for school.
He is.
I was kind of noticing how, like, I was like, this movie, like, just feels like it gave birth to, like, the 90s vampire movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like, it,
Yeah.
like, kind of gave you this, like,
Re-energized it.
grunge rock vampire. Like, it just, like, it's just right there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And another part with when I was talking about Schumacher is the fact that these he's always great at shot selections. Even in like his worst movies, like Batman and Robin, he still has great shot selections because he's a great director. But in this is just so slick and cool, and the geography you can see, which is a thing that got lost in like the mid-aughts and now has recorrected itself, but geography got lost. Like things would be shaky cam, or there wouldn't be clear geography on action scenes where one thing was to the other. And the geography in this is very clear, and there's just some really cool stuff. You were going to say something, Derek?
Yeah. No, I can't think of what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well-
yeah, no. The other thing about this, and it coincides with like the tone of the movie, but like the soundtrack to this movie is so iconic.
Dude,
And I mean, all you got to do is like hear specific lyrics, and you're just like, I know where that's from.
Cry Little Sister is one of the best movie to song to movie synergies of all time, I think.
Yeah.
It just fits it so, like when the movie opens with that, I kind of get goosebumps because when the movie opens with it, it's so cool. You're just
Yeah,
automatically
dude.
like,
And it's stuck in your
I'm
head.
in.
Like, how long is this song gonna be stuck in my head, guys? I need to know.
Dude, a long
It
At
time.
least a
sticks
week.
in there.
And
Yeah.
the way it's spread out throughout the movie and it's used as a motif of
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
key scenes is so cool. Especially that thou shall not, that bit
Yeah.
is just like
Yeah.
hypnotic.
The like
It's just
choir
really-
of children.
Yeah, it's so. The only way I can describe it is cool. This movie is just cool. It's just cool.
It was.
It's like I wish I was cool.
Vampires.
I wish I was as cool as this movie.
So for real, and I know I'm jumping a little bit of ahead, but if
Yeah,
I
we're just
grow
gonna
up
jump around.
and I am not as cool as their grandpa, I'm gonna be so pissed. I can't
He is
wait
a cool grandpa.
to like go on a date with my wife and use Windex as aftershave.
Dude.
Oh my
Grandpa
gosh.
was great. Let's use this section to talk about the characters in general. Let's talk about them. So we have Michael, played by Jason Patrick, who is also pretty cool. He's a good lead. He looks great.
Yeah.
He looks great. He also looks cool. The
Yeah,
Schumacher
he's like-
coolness.
He seems like such a model. Like he's almost like too beautiful for this movie.
Yeah, he's a very handsome man. He's very handsome. And then his younger brother, played by Corey Haim, is Sam. And Sam is great.
He is really good. And I actually thought that they had really great chemistry.
They do.
Like,
You
there were a
believe that they're
couple of
brothers.
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple of scenes like where you're just like, yeah, they seem like they're really close.
Yeah.
And the dialogue between the two of them it is great. Also, the dialogue between them and their grandpa. Dude, every scene that Grandpa's in,
We'll get to Grandpa. We'll
I
get
know,
to
I'm
Grandpa.
just saying. I was a big fan of Grandpa.
So, yeah, Haim is great in this role, and he's a really cool character. He's, kind of trying to figure stuff out. But there's a scene when he's first introduced to another set of characters, the Frog Brothers, which
Oh my
the
god.
fucking Frog Brothers, dude, are just next level.
They're the best.
They
They're the
are.
best.
They're so great. So when he's the first time he walks in, he's wearing that like cool like jacket. It's like a weird looking
Yeah.
jacket, but it's so cool because it like has a collar popped and stuff. He kind of saunters in.
He's so
It's-
preppy.
Yeah,
Like they made
preppy.
a point to
Yeah.
make him like a cool prep kid, you know, like
yes.
he's got the style, he's got the posters, like
Yeah, dude. Speaking of the posters, he for some reason has a fucking Rob Lowe poster on his
yes.
closet door.
Hey, Rob Lowe was big back in this era.
He
Yeah.
was, but I mean, I don't know.
It's a hilarious poster to just think of this kid
It's-
having though, because
yeah,
he's just like got his like he's like rubbing his belly or something, his abs, you know.
yeah, it's
like-
just like that's definitely a Joel Schumacher poster. It's from like I think St. Elmo's Fire or some shit, probably. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's that, and then there's
and the Molly
like
Ringwald.
Wait, before
Molly
we leave
Ringwald,
this scene, I know exact because I made note of his wardrobe as well, and I was just like, man, the only time you can pull that off is in the 80s.
yeah,
It was such
you
an
never
80s
wear it now,
outfit.
but it looks great for the
It
time.
does. It looks
great. It looks
it looks
cool.
very cutting like edge.
Yeah,
for the
it cuts
time.
it cuts a nice silhouette too, you know, like it just it's nice. And so the Frog Brothers, their mom is great, by the way, too. She is so fun and fantastic. Diane West plays her. She's
Yeah.
great.
Yes. She also has some 80s fashion
Oh,
choices happening.
shoulder pads going
What,
on.
she's
Yep.
going out for the team to be a linebacker. What
Shoulder
are you talking
pads for days, guys. Shoulder
about?
pads
Oh my
for
god,
days.
this is
They're
hilarious.
subtle though. It looks great on
Yeah.
her.
My mom and like our family moved to Kentucky one year, right? And then it didn't work out, and so we moved back, and we were staying with my cousin, or like my cousin and his family. I didn't have a shirt one day, and he was like, "Yeah, man, why don't you wear this shirt?" He gave me one of his mom's shirts. Now, typically these people are just stuck in the 80s. It had freaking shoulder pads, man.
Yes.
I wore that to school. And somebody like called it out, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I was just told to put this shirt on. I don't know what you're talking about. But the shirt
Yes.
definitely had shoulder pads.
Oh,
Dude,
that's
those-
hilarious.
Shoulder pads survived a lot longer than people remember.
They were through the mid '90s. Yeah, they were through up to at least through the
Especially
early
in business.
'90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of shoulder pads, I think of this movie, but more importantly, I think of like 9 to 5,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Working Girl, and Die Hard, because Holly's got some shoulder pads going on too. So hilarious.
Yes. That just makes me think of the Bob's Burgers episode Die Hard or try what is it? Dang it, I just said it in my head and then I couldn't get it out. Work Hard or Die Trying Girl.
Yeah.
The musical.
They
Love it.
So we'll get to now we're at Grandpa, Derek. Before we talk about the vamps.
He's got
Grandpa-
man.
Grandpa is a great character. He's got some really funny lines.
Not only funny lines, but
He's
like
the
he is
best.
so eccentric.
Dude, I
as
love
a
when
character.
when he's talking about the fucking TV guide and he's like, sometimes it rolls up. Don't peel that off. If you do, sometimes it peels it off. And he's like, so you do have a TV? No, I like to read the TV guide. If you have that, what do you need a TV for?
That's one of the many things, dude. There's a scene where they get into that like classic car,
Oh,
He's like,
that's
"Oh, you wanna go to
classic.
town?"
Yes.
Yeah.
and he gets in his car and he starts it up. Oh, you got to let her warm up a little bit, and then he's like, he turns it off. He's like, all right, let's go. He's like, well, I thought you said we were going to town. That's as close to town as I like to get.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because we find out I mean, of course, at the end we find
Yeah.
out about Grandpa. So like that he ends the movie on a great joke, on a great line.
Yes.
Mhm.
So yeah, Grandpa's great. And let's talk about the vampires. So we have David, who we talked about is already the coolest. And then the other Lost Boys are just kind of in the background. They don't really
Mhm.
Yeah.
have personalities. They're just kind of there. David's
They're
the
just
only one
there
that's
for, like,
fleshed out.
fashion.
Yeah, and to look cool, because they look cool. We've already established. But Yeah, and then you have what is his name?
It's either that forgettable.
Max. Max. Then you have Max, who is
Oh yeah.
the video store
Yeah,
owner, and starts dating their mom. And we also find out, of course, that he is actually the lead vampire. We find out. So,
the goofiest
Mhm.
vampire.
dude, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when we get there. We'll talk about it here in a
Sorry.
minute. No, we can talk about it now, I guess. Whatever you guys want to talk about, whenever.
No, you're fine.
Uh,
Keep going. Keep going. I
But
gotta
Go ahead.
tell you guys this amazing news that I found out, but I want to wait till the end of what our character
Okay.
here.
And then we have Star and the little boy. What's the little boy's name?
Oh, dang it. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Laddie.
Is it
Is the
Laddie?
little boy's name.
I thought it was
Laddie.
Lenny or something.
It's Laddie. Laddie. Laddie.
There's a really great
Laddie.
reveal.
Oh, on the milk carton?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is a great
it
reveal.
was very like, I mean, it was in your face, but it was very stood out quite a bit.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And there's one more character we've got to talk about, which is Sexy Saxophone Player.
Oh
shit.
my god. Dude, if I had those moves.
Dude, he is ripped. Okay.
He is
Yeah, he is.
buff.
He's ripped, and he's like shouting the lyrics to his song, and then in between and then like
Dude,
thrusting.
I just sat back in awe of this whole scene. I was like, just
This
a
is
jaw drop.
such an 80s scene. It's brilliant. I love it.
I was like, I honestly, I just didn't even remember much of that scene at all, and it's just like,
That's one of the
wow.
things I can never forget.
I don't know how I forgot it.
I forgot how ridiculous it was until I rewatched, like how long it was. I knew that he appeared, but I forgot it was literally like an entire song performance, and it was,
Yes.
which is, it's actually really effective because we see Michael notice Star.
Yeah.
And then
Notices her real hard.
Notice? Man, he like, she needs a restraining order. He like staring her down so hard.
yeah, that's
You
true.
fell in love at first sight.
At first sight.
Yeah, he did. Although I will say that actress, she is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very pretty lady.
So pretty. I also just want to say that
That's
I
Jamie.
laughed.
That's of course Jamie Gertz, by the way.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, Jamie
so
Gertz.
beautiful.
She is.
I just really laughed at like the fact that they go to this thing to like watch this saxophone player.
I don't know if they
And-
even went there for that, or if they were just wandering around and we're like, this fucking guy's over here.
Right. Yeah. But so the two brothers are there, and Michael is just falling in love over here, like googly eyes, and the little brother's like, hey, quit looking at her and look at this saxophone guy. Like he's just like nudging him like, hey, pay attention, we're here to see
You
this.
see this beefcake?
Like, who would you rather look at, that or Jamie Gertz?
I'm gonna do a comparison when
Staring at Jamie.
He does have a Rob Lowe poster on his walls.
That's true.
That is true.
Like, look at
No, I'm
that.
gonna throw up a picture, and the audience, you tell me if I'm completely wrong about this. That saxophone player does have a little bit of a resemblance to Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
He does have a little bit of beefcake in him. Yeah.
Your
Mainly
comment
'cause
made
he's a
me think
beefcake.
about that, and I was like, no, that's definitely, he's got a little beefcake in him.
Well, mainly because that guy is a beefcake. He's a
I
beefcake.
don't know what that is. But that's a really funny sentence.
He's a wrestler from the 80s.
Okay.
He's Hulk Hogan's best friend. Literally, in every promotion Hulk went to in the 80s and 90s, Brother Brutai would appear in another character.
Amazing.
He's the disciple. He's the booty man.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Oh, man.
Good
Okay,
on a
so
podcast
are we
with
done
just
with our
wrestling
character
names.
list?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to point out that we have some actors in this film that have been in other films that we have covered.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've got the Coreys. Okay, we
Mhm.
did
Yep.
Gremlins with Corey Feldman,
Yep.
and we did
Silver
Silver
Bullet.
Bullet with Corey
Yep.
Haim.
With Haim. Yep.
And I'm trying to figure out, is there anyone else that you guys noticed in any other movies that we did?
Um.
I was thinking
I
maybe
don't
like the mom was in something, but I can't like pin it down to like a certain movie.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know.
But
We
there's
haven't.
someone else, guys. There's someone else that has made an appearance in one of our favorite movies, and you guys will never guess who it is.
Who is that?
Is it Bill S. Preston Esquire?
No. The taxidermy dog that Grandpa takes in his car on his date is the same taxidermy dog from Puppet Master.
That's hilarious.
That's great.
What a great tie-in. Good job,
That
Lydia.
is great. Great bit
Yes,
of trivia there.
Guys,
Of course.
thank you. Thank you.
I mean, when I think of Puppet Master in this movie, I definitely think of the taxidermy dogs.
Oh man.
Though
So-
there is a go ahead, Derek.
Well, you go ahead with what you're gonna say.
Oh, I was gonna say there's a great bit of taxidermy jokes in this movie with Grandpa.
Yes.
His running bit of giving Sam. So the fact that we see the first one, then we see the second one that's there, and he said, "I wish Grandpa would quit giving me these." And he opens up the closet, and there's like 40 in there. Is hilarious.
He always just sets them like next to his
Yeah,
nightstand, so they're just like,
it's just like fucking 40 of these dead animals in his closet.
There's a great little bit with Michael and Grandpa where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to see Miss Johnson," and he
Oh,
was
the
like,
widow.
"Oh,
Yeah, the widow.
yeah, the
Johnson.
widow, Miss Johnson," and he says something to along the lines of, "Oh, are you going to show her your Johnson?" or something like that.
Yeah,
Like this-
yeah.
There's just
Oh
so
my
much
gosh.
good dialogue in this movie with
Dude.
Grandpa. He stole it for me.
So let's talk about Michael's seduction scene because it's really good. It's like really good.
The like lovemaking scene.
No, his seduction
Okay,
to
'cause-
vampirism. So, what do you guys think of Michael's seduction scene?
It's really it is very good because it starts off with the motorcycle scene,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're driving through like I don't know, not necessarily the desert, but like through this thick fog at night
Yep.
on the out in the middle of nowhere, like right towards the bluff.
Yep.
And like he had to put his bike down so he doesn't go off, and that's like pretty intense actually.
Yeah, really intense. And then, they take him back to their lair, to their home, and tell him
The
all about it.
backstory to that is really cool though.
Yeah, it is how it flooded.
Mhm.
Well, it was built on a fault line. It was a hotel.
Yeah, fault line. Yeah, and then the fault line broke, so it's underground now.
Yeah, that would be like the coolest hangout, man.
Yeah, it really
I
would.
would. I would
I'd
be really
live
scared to
there.
go in there though.
It'd be really cool though.
What do you think? You're gonna find a bunch of vampires, Lydia?
Maybe.
No, just like you're still on a fault line.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are.
So yeah,
Not
they
a fan.
have. So then, he gives him weed, and he like gets real stoned, and it obviously has something in it. And then he gives him Chinese food, and he's like, "How do you like those maggots?" And
Yeah.
Jay basically fucks with
Yeah.
him twice with the maggots and the worms. What do you guys think of that bit?
Well, I thought it was strange. I guess I missed that they like smoked weed. Like I just missed that. So I was just like, why is he acting so strange? So that explains that. But
Yeah, he smokes a doob. Smokes a doob.
also, like, who just like hands someone some plain white rice to eat? Like, and he was just like, yeah, I'll just eat
It was
this plain
chicken
white
fried
rice.
rice.
No, it
No,
was
it
white
wasn't.
rice. It was
It
regular
was
white
just
rice.
white. Yeah,
But-
it was just like
Hey, listen, beggars can't be choosers. I'm pretty sure he probably
Yeah.
just killed like a Chinese delivery guy on his way to like deliver the food.
Probably
like,
yeah, that
right.
was some old
Probably
rice.
right on. Yeah,
Uh,
no, it definitely shows like first off he's toying with him,
mhm.
but also like there is an element of dominance there as well.
Yes.
And that's also like a kind of a power set that or like an ability that they don't really harken back to, but apparently he's got the ability to make you see things. That's
Yeah.
what it seems like because he does it twice to him.
Yeah, but it also could be his mind's compromised from the drugs as well.
It could be power suggestion, but it
Yeah.
seemed more
Yeah.
real to him.
Definitely like
Yep.
a vampire thing for sure.
Yeah, it had to be. It had to be. But it's
Yeah.
really, it's a really cool, effective scene. Then, of course, he drinks the wine, which is not wine. It's his blood.
Blood.
It's you know,
It's
Actually,
David's
probably
blood.
Max's blood.
Probably.
He's the head
maybe.
vampire.
Yeah, maybe. But either way, he drinks the blood and
Yeah.
he starts exhibiting vampire like abilities. But dude, the scene where they go to the railroad tracks is awesome.
It is.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Classic. The way it's shot, it looks so good. It looks so cool. It's all the
It
fog.
does. Yeah, that fog really like plays a very crucial role in this because it's just so like because whenever they finally drop down, you don't know like it could have been 10 feet.
Yeah, and they're just hooting and hollering at him.
Yeah, and there was a cool transition from like him falling there to like falling into bed.
Yeah,
Like he
Yeah.
flew there kind of.
yeah, because he doesn't know what happened. Was he hallucinating
Yeah.
that? What's going on? And then that's when he starts to hit his vampirisms. And
Yeah.
so when he finally starts to feel the hunger and stuff and goes to basically attack Sam
Yeah.
and the dog, which is the best dog ever. Like Nanook kicks his ass. And then he's realizing that this is bad stuff. So then that's when Sam knows I need to call the Frog Brothers. I love Feldman in this movie. He always talks like this the entire time.
He does like
Serious.
yeah, they're extremely memorable as well. The dialogue between him and Sam and Michael here, where he was like, "Oh my God, you're a blood-sucking vampire. Wait till I tell Mom."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
that's
"No,
really
no."
hilarious.
And then when he's flying out the window and he's got a hold of the phone, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Mom, there's something." Michael, so he's acting really weird. Mom, don't listen to him. And he's like, flying outside the window. He pulls him in.
Mhm.
But yeah, their dynamic is really good because he doesn't want to kill him because it's his brother, but he wants to help and figure out what's going on
Yeah.
because of it.
But those Frog Brothers, because you brought them up, man, they're all about like, let's kill everybody. Like they
Let's
want to
kill every
Michael.
vampire. Every vampire. Yeah.
At one point, they want to kill the little kid.
Yeah, and they want to kill Star.
Yep. Immediately, they're like, let's get. They do get their kills.
Yeah. At the end, we'll talk about the end here in a minute because that's awesome. But
they make it. They're very Corey Feldman in that. He is very memorable.
Yeah.
As I forget what his first name is.
Edgar. Edgar.
Edgar. Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, everything from his wardrobe to like the voice that he gave the guy.
Yeah.
It's like it's great. I'm glad they cast him.
So let's talk about a couple of really cool scenes. First of all, there's the scene where Max comes over for dinner, and they're trying to prove because basically Sam has deduced that Max is the head vampire, and so they're gonna try these vampire tricks on him. And so Max, when he walks up, asks Michael if can be invited in, and Michael, of course, invites him. So then we find out that by doing that, he doesn't have any power. The family has no power over him. They lost all the power.
it's also a really clever way, the way that happens.
Yeah.
Because it's super respectful in a way that
Yeah.
like you could see it happening for somebody who is trying to date your mom. He
Mhm.
you know, acknowledges, he's like, "You're the man of the house. I won't come in unless you invite me."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Such a vampire
it was
thing
well
to
set up.
say.
It is
It
kind of
was the way
vampire.
he phrased
But-
it, but then
but-
the scenario was very plausible.
No, and it
Yeah,
is
for
because you're
sure.
like, this guy's 100% a vampire, and then you have the dinner scene, and you're like,
Oh, maybe he's not a vampire.
maybe not. Maybe he's not a vampire.
Yeah.
Because the dinner scene's hilarious when he's like, "That's not Parmesan, that's garlic," and he's like, "You hate garlic, don't you?" No, I like garlic, but not this much. And then when
Yeah.
they flip off the lights and turn it on, the mirrors are there. He's like, "Ah!"
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Or they spill water on him, and it was supposed to, it's holy water, but
Yeah,
he's
like,
like,
burns, doesn't it? Burns? Are you kidding? Crazy? It's freezing. He's like, "Oh, I see what's going on here. You think I'm going to take your mom away?"
It's like,
We're like, well,
yeah,
that could've
that's
went
why
better.
we did all the vampire testing on you.
That could have went better. So then she goes to visit Max to apologize and is attacked by his dog Thorn. Right after he reads a
Yeah.
comic about the Hounds of Hell. And that's when you're
Yeah.
like, probably still Max. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So the other scene I wanted to talk about is the when they go to the lair because they have a conversation with Michael and find out about David. So they go to the vampire's hideout to basically destroy the leader, but they don't know which one's the leader because Michael can't go down there because he's weakened from the sun. He goes down and kidnaps or takes Star and Laddie away, and then falls asleep in the car. So the three kids, Edgar, Alan, and Sam,
Oh.
go down and see. Yeah, that's why their names are Edgar and Alan. Yeah. And they go down and they stake their first vampire. What do you guys think of this vampire kill? This whole scene in it's really tense and scary, actually.
Yeah. It's got some good tension for sure. You're like, because you're like, these are just children.
Yeah.
Like,
And
and they have
there's
no
a bunch
idea
of
what
them
they're
up there.
against. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have no idea what they're doing. Like, they do have an idea, but like, how, for one?
Yeah.
And
Well-
for two, like, they're not thinking these things through.
No.
well, they're searching all over for coffins, and then they realize that these vampires are hanging above them.
hmm
And
Yeah.
so, like,
Great
you know,
reveal.
the two brothers, like, they come across as they know what they're doing, but they're totally green.
Yeah.
Like, this
yeah,
is
they
the
never
first
killed
action
vampires
they've ever
before.
seen. Yeah.
Right.
They're faking it till they make it hardcore, but
Yeah.
yeah, this they finally get one, and it's
Alex
God
Winter.
rest his soul.
Yep.
Bill S. No, I can't say it anyway. I'm getting too tired. But yeah, staking through the heart.
Yep. And then the blood gushes all on him. The gross,
It's
brown,
so gross.
tobacco-looking shit all
Fluid.
over him.
Just
Yeah.
fluid. Ugh.
It's probably tobacco
You know what?
juice, Derek.
You know what grossed me
That's
out?
disgusting. Why you got to do that? Why you got to go there?
What, Lydia?
Make this super awkward for everybody.
What
really
really grossed
grosses
me
you
out
out?
was the reveal of the vampire feet while they're hanging
Oh
upside down.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
nasty. Yeah, it is nasty.
The toe is
Like,
like curled
clamped
around
on?
like animal style. Ugh, gross.
Yeah. That is gross.
You know,
So good.
Since we're talking about the cave, what do you guys think of the love scene between Michael and Star?
It's super 80s.
That was
Yeah.
the lamest love scene
Yeah.
I've seen in a movie since there was one that we reviewed and it was really bad.
I
can't
mean, it
remember
was
what
a Top Gun style love scene. All
I
it
was
was
gonna
missing
say
was the
Top
blue
Gun.
light. Olsen
Yep.
Misses was the blue tint, but it's that same, shoulders and
Real
arms
cheesy.
and and swaying while it's playing "Thou shalt not."
I was a little taken aback because I was like, man, this really is not driving this specific part. It didn't drive the story anywhere, but
Well, it did because it shows that she loves him because she was supposed to kill him, but instead she has sex with him. He's supposed to be her first
and
feeding.
so is that a conflict of interests? Because Max, I assume, wants Michael to be part of his
It was, and that's what
boys.
he says that his boys were misbehaving because they weren't supposed to be attacking the family at all. Because it's literally he was trying to seduce them, get Michael seduced as a vampire, have Michael turn Sam, then she would be easy prey because both of her kids are vampires. So then she'd of course join. But yes, you're right. That's totally David's call. He wants to do this because he's just not listening to Max. And at this point, we also don't know that Max is the leader. We assume David is because he leads the Lost Boys.
I will say the wild card and everything. Max never saw it coming.
Nope. We'll get to it. But let's talk about this whole finale, this whole third act. So we get this great montage of them running into a church while they're having like a service, and they fill up their
service.
and they fill up bottles, full of the holy water. Then they take it and pour it into the bathtub, throw garlic in it after they smash a bunch of garlic, then fill up squirt guns with holy water and garlic. That's excellent, guys.
Brilliant.
I love that shit.
The squirt bottles are perfect, like the super soakers.
Yeah.
They're key, dude.
Yeah, if you're ever going into a vampire lair, that's the way to go.
Yeah, that's the way to go. So that's great. And then we get this great tense scene when they're like building up to the finale, and we have Nanook outside, and Sam realizes that he left him out, so he runs out there, and then Michael runs out to get him, and we see that cool overhead shot. We know they're coming, and they're trying to rush to get to it. What do you guys think of that bit?
Those overhead, like those flying shots, are the best shots of the movie. Like they're the coolest.
Yeah, they're
I feel
so
like
cool.
You really kind of just like feel like you're flying. Even the one where it's like clearly like reversed.
Yeah.
When it's like they're reversing out of the cave, I was like, oh wow, that was played backwards from the same clip earlier.
But still cool.
Still cool.
Still cool. Yeah, still cool.
Still don't know how they did that either.
Yeah, probably a crane, I would imagine, because they didn't have drones at the time. So either for a lot of it had to be a crane, a big crane arm.
Awesome.
So what do you guys think of the finale? The whole third act here, the vampire battle.
It's pretty sick.
I mean, the only critique I have is the fight between David and Michael. I wish was a little longer. It was over a little too quick. And man, what is with the vampires and their lack of strategy? Because like they go in and
they're young.
They separate.
Yeah, they're just
young vampires.
They're
young and dumb.
Yep, basically they're reckless youths.
Well, because the Frog Brothers take out one in the bathtub.
Well, technically, Nanook takes out one in the bathtub.
I guess Nanook does do that. Yeah, because
he
squirt him in the face.
Squirts him in the face because he's like, garlic doesn't hurt me. And they're like, what about holy water? And they spray him, and he's like, oh. And then Nanook comes in there, and he's like, fuck you! Boom! Knocks him into the... That meltdown's great, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is. Yeah, very good. And then Sam gets one.
Sam does get one when he says, you miss me, sucker. Then he freaking hits him with it.
Yeah, when he has a line, it was like,
Miss sucker. Once, pal.
Yeah, and then he hits
Whatever.
it. He gets electrocuted, and then he says,
Death by stereo.
Which is great.
Are epic. Yeah.
And And then we
I really
have.
like.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I really like how they set up earlier, like the taxidermy room,
Mhm.
where they were like, when they move in to the house, and they're like, "This is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre,"
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
what you think when you see a room full of taxidermy.
yeah, and antlers and shit. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
creepy. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and the
you're
thing
like,
we
you
missed in
just
the
okay,
expect to
beginning.
hear wow, wow.
yeah, right.
The
So
thing we
I
missed.
like that. I like that setup for sure, though.
Yeah, no, it definitely paid off in the end.
What were you gonna say, Derek?
I was gonna say we missed. I mean, it's a small detail, but it just kind of. It's the first impression you have of I'm really on Grandpa. But
Jesus Christ, you're all over Grandpa's
when
nuts.
they get to his house, he's laying out on the front porch, acting like he's dead
Yeah, yeah. For no reason. For no reason.
for no reason
Yeah,
whatsoever.
That is great.
that
You're
is
right.
so funny.
So
I
stupid.
forgot about that.
And also, they lure Grandpa out of the house by telling him that he has a date with Widow Johnson.
Yeah.
So he's like, I had a date? Well, better get ready.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he leaves.
Wonder if I have any
Um,
more aftershave.
so the fight between, you're right, the fight between Michael and David could have been longer. But it has a hell of an ending.
It does.
Him being impaled on the antlers is great.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
really good because there's a couple of great moments with David that he shows. We forget that he's young, and it shows. There's one moment where after they kill Alex Winter's character, and they're escaping the cave, and he's enraged because his brother died, but also he gets burnt by the sun, and he cries.
Yeah.
Is really powerful, and also when he dies completely, and you see him as just a fresh faced kid. He's just a teenager, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
oh yeah, that's right. Effective stuff. And then
Yeah, I
Ma-
forgot about that scene where he like you just see the tear. Oh man, that's such good
really
acting.
good, really
And
good.
Kiefer Sutherland is he's a really good actor. He
Oh,
did a
great,
great job in
yeah.
this movie.
Yeah, he does.
Yes. Do you think
And
without this movie or without him being in this movie, it would be like just something completely
worse.
different?
Yeah, I think it'd be
Worse.
worse. Yeah, I think for sure
He
him
kind
being
of
in
like
this.
holds this movie somehow.
Well, it's because he's so freaking cool. He's just so
Yeah, he
cool.
is so cool. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Um.
Can't imagine anyone else being in this
No,
role.
I mean maybe Tom Atkins. We'll talk about it, but
I was gonna go there, so I'm glad you did.
we'll talk
Nice.
about it. But so then we get the final reveal, and we find out that Max is the vampire, and Max, like you alluded to earlier, Lydia, is the goofiest vampire.
Yes, he really is.
Do you guys think Max is scary at all when he transforms?
No,
He looks
and
like worse than Goosebumps.
Yeah, he looks pretty bad. Yeah,
I mean he's extraordinarily unassuming. I mean they kind
Yeah.
of telegraph it, they really do, but then they try to throw you off, but you kind of know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
like
he's
that
definitely he's definitely he's not like the other vampires.
Yeah, once he turns, like, I think he's really good throughout the whole movie as Max. I think that character is really good and plays a
Yeah.
good red herring and such. But when he turns into
Mhm.
vampire, he goes like turns it to 11, and then he's like, like, you must join me.
Yeah. Goofy.
And it's also, he has the makeup's not the best. He has the worst makeup job, I think, of the entire cast. But because the vampires themselves look great when they turn into vampires. I love their vampire look. Don't you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except their
it's-
feet.
Yeah, they look great too. They're just hideous.
They look great. I just hate them.
Yeah. So, Derek, here's where you get to talk about the ending and your favorite character of all time. That
Yep.
you're gonna have posters like Rob Lowe of Grandpa on your wall.
For sure. Just putting on the aftershave.
Which
No,
one's gonna
yep, the wild card man, Grandpa
Hmm.
drives. I love the horn on his truck.
Yeah, because it just doesn't quite work all the way. Yeah, just can't muster up enough to get it all the way. It's
I don't know who the casting director was for this movie, but man, this movie would have been completely different. They really did a great job of choosing all the actors,
I
but like
agree. Yeah.
Grandpa was so quirky. Like, and the actor who played him did a phenomenal job. But so he drives through the front of his house with what are these are fence posts,
Yeah, attached
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sharpened.
Yeah.
Yep, and just impales good old Max right into the fire.
Yep. Explodes him.
Yep.
And then of course,
I
you
was
know,
like,
so it's
well,
like
that was easy.
yeah, everybody's like, look, you know, everybody's gathering. Michael and Star are cured, and Laddie's cured. They're all like, no longer vampires. They're all hugging and stuff. You know, the Michael and Sam are hugging with their mom, and she's like, "Dad, are you okay?" He like stumbles out. He stumbles over and grabs his soda, his root beer that he said, "This is the old fart drawer." He grabs his
Yeah, the
soda.
shelf. Yeah, the
Yep.
second shelf.
Yeah,
Don't
second
get
shelf.
anything.
Grabs his soda, and he's like, "One thing I never stomach about this place: all the goddamn vampires." And then
He
it
knew
cuts to
the
them,
whole
and they're
time.
just like, they're just so confused. They're like, "What?" And then it ends. What do you guys think of that? What do you think of that last scene? Yeah,
So good. So good. It's like I would never come
what do
up
you
with
think,
that.
Derek?
It's so brilliant.
Yeah, the ending was perfect. I couldn't imagine a better ending for this movie. Just the way that
Yeah,
it was.
it's pitch
Yeah.
perfect
Yep.
because it nails the tone perfectly. We get the
It
fun,
definitely
we get the
does.
horror, and then we get that comedy beat at the very end to send us
Mhm.
home happy.
Yes.
Yeah, and the body count in this movie is relatively low.
There
I
are
mean,
a lot of off-screen deaths.
there
There are
are.
very
Mm.
few deaths that happen on screen. Or
We have the only really body count high scene is when they go to try to have Michael feed for the first time,
yeah,
and he
Mhm.
refuses to. And there's a great shot where like David bites a dude's head and like
yeah, and
fucking
it
blood
squirts.
gushes out of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Scalps him.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's gross.
Well,
that's
because the
good
couple
stuff.
in the car was off scene, the security guard
Security
was
guard.
off scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of it was off
Yeah,
screen.
I think the body count's probably only like 5
Yeah,
people, maybe more. Maybe it depends on how many people were at that party that end up
yeah.
getting killed.
There
But
were
and
quite
then
a few.
there were quite a few. It looked like, but that we actually see is probably about 5. But yeah, it looks like there's all the people at the party. But then of course
Did you
all the
guys see
vampires.
what they were? Did you see what they were labeled as in the credits?
No, what were they labeled as?
They were called surf Nazis. So I was like, because like I
Good
was
old
watching that
surf
scene.
Nazis.
I was watching that scene and I was like, man, I feel bad for those guys getting killed. Like, I just felt bad for them. And then I saw that they were like Nazis, and I was like, oh, like what?
You know, maybe they
Never
had it
mind.
coming.
They had it coming.
Yeah.
By the
yeah.
way,
Just bastards.
Derek, earlier you asked you said you didn't know who the casting director was. It is Marion Doherty is the
Wow.
casting director.
I've heard that name before. She did a great job.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job. She's done movies like Midnight Cowboy, Urban Cow. She loves the Cowboys apparently. Also a little movie that we've seen, Grease, and then of course a little movie we've seen called Batman, Tim Burton's Batman. One that we may have heard of.
I think I've heard of that.
So, guys, that is Lost Boys. What are your thoughts, Lydia? Let's start with you. What do you think of Lost Boys, and what would you rate it?
Oh my gosh, you always try to start with me when I don't know what to rate.
Okay, I can start with Derek.
Let's start with Derek.
Derek.
So I can't wait for Clark to be old. First off, I hope he has an interest in movies like this. But I can't wait to show him. There's certain movies that are going to be on the list. Be like, hey, you've got to watch this one. I feel like this one is because it is it's a time capsule for the era. It's a trendsetter. Lydia, I actually think you did a great job connecting that. Like the movies that followed after this, I feel like this had a great influence on that genre. The acting was really solid. The jokes were really good. The dialogue was really good. Like this movie, I'm glad that we watched it. It was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna give this movie an 8. I love this movie. I will watch it again probably pretty soon. Halloween's right around the corner.
Yeah. Lydia, what do you think?
All right, so I feel like I can make a decision based off of Derek's. All right, so I think I'm gonna give this movie a 7 because it is a great movie. But I think like there is something about it that I mean, because it's such a time capsule kind of movie, that it doesn't necessarily like hold up for me personally, like as like a 90s kid, besides the fact that it like definitely like triggered this like grunge vampire effect, which I love. But like there are like things that are just like a little too 80s for me. But
Nonsense.
just in
That's
just in a way,
blasphemy.
just in a way that, you know, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But like just in a way that I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to a lot of like people who haven't seen it, or like, you know, like, I don't know, like there's something about it that I'm just gonna give it just one step down from Derek's because I feel like it's less sentimental to me as a 90s baby. Okay,
Well, then we're
That's it.
opposite of last week when I because this movie's a 9. It's a 9. This
I
movie
love
is
your
a
There's
9.
choice.
7, 8, 9 opposite.
I didn't
It's
want to
an-
go too high.
I almost went an 8, but I can't. It's a 9. It rules. It's just a fun movie to watch. It's
Yeah.
funny. It has great characters. It has good writing. It has beautiful shots. The characters are the coolest people to ever live. Like they just look like $1,000,000. The soundtrack is amazing. It's just, yeah, it's a 9. If it wasn't for Goofy Max, I'd probably give it a 10. But hey, as it
Damn you,
is, it's a
Max.
9. It's a damn fine, fun horror movie.
I didn't even get to say that I think another reason it's a little bit lower for me is Michael. Like, there's something about Michael that, like, he does not deliver what I want him to deliver from this.
I think he's fine in it. I think he's fine.
Like, you guys,
I know. I see where you're coming from, Lydia, on that one.
you know what
I
I'm
do.
coming from? Okay,
Yeah,
he's
I
kind
think that
of
he does fit this movie, but he's a little underwhelming at times.
like,
I think that's just the way the character's written.
yeah,
It totally
I think
could
so
have
too.
been.
But
You're exactly right.
and maybe it's not his fault. Maybe that's just how it was. But I don't know. He's so beautiful, and it's just I get no emotion from him. You know, it's like I get nothing.
Well, yeah, I think he's fine. I don't think he's the best or anything, but I think he's fine. But as a whole, the movie rules. It's just so much fun to watch. I'm gonna end up watching it on a rotation yearly for sure.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of David on one shoulder
And Grandpa on the other.
and Grandpa on the other for sure. It's gonna be Grandpa. You know what? I might just have like a silhouette of the two,
You should probably get Grandpa right on your chest.
right next to my heart.
Grandpa.
People be like, "Who is that?"
You're like, you don't know who that is?
The greatest
Nobody would
character ever
recognize him.
written.
You're like, it's the best character written. He plays dead for no reason sometimes and kills vampires with a truck. Uses Windex as aftershave. Grandpa. We don't even know Grandpa. What is Grandpa's character's name? It's just Grandpa.
He's the coolest Grandpa.
Love it. Love it. Oh, by the way,
we've got a really impossible task ahead of us, guys.
That actor, by the way, Derek, is Bernard Hughes. So that way you can look him up later.
He's amazing. I love that guy.
So yeah, we do have a tough task when we have to Atkinize this movie.
Thrill me.
It's
I
one of the
know.
best cast movies that we've done. Who would
I agree.
Tom Atkins play?
Oh,
I mean, besides Max.
Max.
Yeah.
Man,
Absolutely, Max.
he would be too cool
He's
as Max.
perfect.
He would I think he
He's
would be cool though.
perfect.
It would be a different
Oh,
dynamic. It'd be a different dynamic, but then he'd just be you never suspect him to be a vampire because he's too rough and cool.
No, I would
Yeah.
totally expect him from the get-go because you'd be like, David, who? No, I'm kidding. David, I'm just kidding. But
There's other people in this movie?
you know what? I'm going to digitally, no, I probably won't do this because it would take forever, but like remove the cigarette from David's ear in the carousel scene.
That cigarette looks cool, man. That's what
It
makes
does not.
it's always cool
A
looking when
fashion
you're
statement.
not smoking them. You have them out there.
Yeah, I mean, I get, yes, Max.
Max.
I guess it would
Definitely
definitely
Max.
change the dynamic of.
It changed the character. First of all, Michael wouldn't be all like, yeah, you do whatever. He'd be like, yes, sir,
He would be.
Mr. Tom Atkins.
And it would make more sense why Mom like really wants to date him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would definitely that would close that plot hole for sure.
Wow. Poor guy. I think they actually did make a cute couple.
No. Yeah, they were sweet, but I mean, didn't have the raw animal attraction that Tom Atkins brings to everything he does.
Mhm. Exploding like windows.
You know,
and, like,
he'd
things
be
going on.
Yep.
definitely
Just by
bring
sheer
in the
presence.
discipline to all the characters, and then
Well,
he'd
to the
have to say
kids.
his favorite line.
Yep.
Mm.
That's why
He-
God created fathers, babe. That's why God created fathers.
Yep. And then when Michael's like, let's fight, he would say, thrill me.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, guys. So it's time to pick next week's movie. And I've been giving this a lot of thought.
Uh-oh.
And I have one of two extremes that I'm thinking of. Something old or something new. And when I say old, I mean old. So something old or something new. And when I say new, I mean fairly new. So Derek, last week you had me pick left or right. Hang on, let me assign something to each. Okay. All right. Pick left or right.
All right. Are you ready?
Uh-huh. You son of a bitch, you're trying to do the same trick I did. It's not gonna work. Not
Lydia, did
gonna
I give
work.
you a little bit?
No, I thought you were just concentrating and thinking. I thought you were like,
Yeah. I'm just like, the suspense is killing me. What is it?
I thought he might have shit his pants and was just confused on what to do.
That's terrible. Why would you say that? That never happened. That never happened. I'm gonna go left.
Okay, then we are going to watch Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell.
All right.
Nice.
I like it.
You guys want to know what the other one was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was James Whale's Frankenstein
Ah,
from 1931. So
that would be a good one.
Oh,
too.
I can hear the jokes now.
Hey Derek, was this in black and white or color?
You guys are mean. I don't know why I show up every week and do these podcasts.
You brought it up.
So,
I'm ahead of it, Lydia.
Drag Me to Hell. Let's see where that is. Streaming.
I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a
It's a
fun
good
one to
one.
talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Sam Raimi. Come on.
Sam Raimi, come on.
Get
So,
out
Drag
of
Me to
town.
Hell is on YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Google Play Prime, and Vudu. I thought it was on Shudder actually recently too, but I could be wrong. I have a copy of it. So,
Of course.
Sam Raimi movie. Why wouldn't I? So that's next week. Is there any other housekeeping we need to do? We are on work. We are working hard on the latest project. We'll have updates on that shortly. Anything else?
We do have our merch available. You can order
We
it
do.
on Facebook.
On Facebook or HiLa, go to HiLaProductions.com, go to the merch tab, and put in your order. We have a bunch of new shirts that were created by Lydia. We have some classic shirts, the classic Scream Bloody Movies logo. We have a new two new Scream Bloody Movies logos. We have a Hookman shirt, and we also have a Secret Admirer shirt. So buy those, order those, wear them, support the merch. You can also be sure to like, share, subscribe, click the bell, and all that good stuff. Comment. It helps the channel grow. It helps us tremendously when you do that stuff. You can follow us on social media at Facebook at HiLa Productions. You can follow us on Instagram at Scream Bloody Movies. Follow us on Twitter. You can follow Lydia at Lydia is Spooky. Follow Derek at DDogLeeMaster, and you can follow me at Racket, where you'll see all my James Bond hot takes. Be sure, like I said, to like, share, and subscribe. And if there's nothing else, remember, if you're going to Scream Bloody Movies. See you next week.